Good evening, Chile. My name is Rodrigo Nostroza, and this is Better Late Than Never. Today we'll be discussing one of the most important topics nowadays, which is climate change. And today we are on the mansion of one of the richest persons in Qatar, which happens to be an oil seller. We will have a debate between a representative of the UN and the household here. But before we start with this debate, we would like to introduce the topic with an expert on this theme, which is Gabriel Ibarra. I'm glad to say that he's here today to explain it to us. So please, a round of applause for him. Welcome.
Hi, I'm very glad to be with you tonight.
Yeah, we appreciate that you could come tonight. Before we start speaking about climate change, can you tell me about Terram?
Oh, of course. Terram is an organization concerned about the future and the environmental care. In Terram, we think that the main problem of the 21st century is the climate change.
That's a really interesting topic for an organization. Can you tell me more about climate change? Like, when did this problem begin?
Okay. This problem begins with the first industrial revolution around the 18th century.
Wow, that's a while ago. And what are the consequences of this? Because I've heard it has lots of consequences.
Yeah.
Can you tell me like the main ones?
Mainly, there are three. First, the industrial waste, the deforestation, the massive combustion.
Wow.
In Chile, we are working hard to be pioneers of the promotion of this culture of environmental care.
Wow, that's quite a step for Chile. But what is your forecast for the future? I mean, for the future of the world?
I see it well. I see with Terra, we see a lot of awareness of this problem. So we can tell that the future will be very bright.
That sounds promising. That gives me hope. So thank you for introducing the topic today, Gabriel.
Thank you,
I hope we will see you again in other podcasts or themes or documentaries. Okay, before we start with the debate that I told you in the beginning of the show, now finishing our very good interview with Gabriel Ibarra, we're going to present the forecast in the hands of Hector Arenas. Music, Tito.
Good evening, everyone. Before I start with the forecast, I want to talk about the last 3 days, how weird they were, because this day have been changing a lot. 3 days ago, it was pouring, something normal in July. 2 days ago, it was chilly at the beginning, but then it was boiling. And yesterday, electric storms had accumulated, causing a hurricane in our country. Something really, really weird. We have a video. Let's start with the forecast. In the south, we will have cold days that will have finished by Friday with a blizzard. Get warm that day because it's going to be below zero. Yes, it's going to be really, really cold. The north won't have sunny days and clear skies anymore. It's going to have cloudy days with maybe some thunders and a light breeze. In the capital, the rain will have finished by Tuesday, so in Thursday we will be seeing smoke again. But we won't have finished using our jackets yet because we will be having really freezing and humid days. And that's all. Oh, before I go, I have to tell you that in the credits at the end of the show will be the sources from where our guests got information.
Okay, thank you, Tito, for that forecast. That was a really good presentation, but our guests are ready, so let me introduce them to you. To my left, we have Antonio Guterres from the United Nations, and of course about the issue of global warming. And to my right, we have Ali bin Ali, also known as Ali Ari, our friend that admitted us today at his house, so we could have this very kind debate. With no further ado, let's begin. I will stay behind the cameras, keeping the situation away from getting salty. So with no further ado, and with help of editing, I will disappear.
Well, in reality there is no consensus about climate change. Models used are unreliable because we're coming out from the Little Ice Age in the 18th century and another ice age has been predicted in the 70s. For those who say it's because of CO2 emissions from fossil fuels, human CO2 only represents a tiny fraction of all CO2 emissions. And increasing CO2 has little to no effect at all. Volcanoes emit more CO2 than humans and its concentration was higher in the past. It's all a natural cycle.
There is a regarding international climate change. Science in 2050 by the mega powers of the world called Paris Agreements by didn't you know? In a certain sense, you're right about the emissions produced by the volcanoes, but you can't just focus on that. You need to see the waste produced by your factories and the plastic that end on the oceans and reach onto our waters that we test. You need to see the bigger picture, sir.
CO2 limits will make little difference, won't cool the planet, and will only hurt the poor. Because fossil fuels make a lot of jobs. Now I need to introduce you the concept of baseload power. What is baseload power? Well, when the wind isn't blowing and the sun isn't shining, renewables like solar and wind are producing electricity. And what happens during the time when we need energy? And we need something more reliable, something that produces electricity all the time and that we can rely on. That's baseload power, provided by reliable sources such as nuclear and coal-fired power plants. Well, fossil fuels are cheap and reliable sources of energy. They are excellent types of fuel to use for energy baseload, as opposed to some of more unreliable energy sources such as wind and solar. Renewable energy is too expensive and their investment only kills jobs and damages many oil-dependent economies.
That is completely wrong, sir. The current photovoltaic panels allow to receive the energy coming from the sun either in presence of clear skies or cloudy skies. On the other hand, the wind turbines effectively stop working without the presence of a current. However, more and more energies eco-friendly are being seen. For example, there is a panel of the show of the size of a child's soul that with our walks daily allows to us charge our phones. Energies like that are spread around the world.
I'm afraid that this is the end of our program. But before we leave, I would like to thank our friend Ali here for letting us inside his home so we could record this very kind show. So, thank you, Ali. I hope we'll see you in another time. Do you have
I hope so.
any words for the world?
I won't change my mind.
That's fair.